The world is so big. Memories last.
Little Amélie of the Ghetto of Brain. So we all know that there have been a bunch of independent animated movies from France, and we also that has been based off of books. So unsurprisingly, there would be a French animated film that is based off of the book called the Character of Rain, and it also has some Japanese culture, and the film also has some Japanese culture. Now, when it comes to my opinion, I will say that I have never read the book. So while I wouldn't say that because it sucks, because again, I have never read the book, but just because I never got the time to, actually read the book. But however, when it comes to my expectations, I will say that I will say that Henry's decision, independent animated film from France, I do at least hope that maybe I do expect that this movie could be quite could actually be quite good since a lot of French independent animated films have gotten a bunch of praise. So now that we'll see the life of little Amélie in this book adaptation, will I love this movie as much as how little Amélie loves white chocolate, or will this movie be as annoying as when a toddler runs, seeing a kid running and screaming? Well, let's find out. No spoilers for anyone who has seen this movie. So now let's talk about the story. And when it comes to the story itself, it is exactly what you expect. From a French animated film about a 3-year-old girl. It is about Amélie, who's this like 3-year-old girl who she thinks that she's like a god, but however, God, and she even said her first vote. And she also has a relationship with musician. It's like, okay, who take her. So little Amélie does so little Amélie spends so little Amélie is spending a lot of time with her family.
When you are 3, you see everything and understand nothing.
So now I want to hear it. When it comes to the story itself, I will admit that the flaw of the story is that the writing generally isn't amazing, where it isn't the best part of the movie and can be at most kind of predictable, and also not to mention that during the and also not to mention that, and also not to mention that, and also not to mention that the fact that some of the things about some of the scenes where little Amélie, like she said, can be quite baffling. But however, the statement that the story in this is bad, well, actually no, in fact it is actually quite fine. Well, the best part of it, one of the best parts of it is one of the best parts of it is the relationship between little Amélie and her caretaker that we shall see in a lot of heartwarming moments. That I didn't say. That we shall see a lot. That I say we shall see a lot of heartwarming moments that can be quite enjoyable to watch. And all the show later in the film, the things about little Amélie think that she got is now gone. Work is finally for the better show. Now when it comes to the story itself, so while it may not be amazing at really the start, the story in itself is still quite okay. So now let's talk about the animation itself. Now when it comes to the animation now even though the story may not be that perfect, the animation I say that it's probably some of the best parts about the movie is that the animation is just amazing. Where it looks. Well, now let's start over to the scenes where they look very nice. Where they look very nice. Where the scenes they go to, they don't look over the top, but at the same time they don't look too realistic enough to the part where they fall in like the uncanny valley. And also the overall film can be quite colorful in some scenes. And also the film can be quite colorful in some scenes. And also the world building in here is actually quite great. Where since the movie is set in Japan, it unsurprisingly has a lot of Japanese-like elements such as the fish. And also, since this movie is set in Japan, it also has a bunch of Japanese elements that actually look quite nice, such as the use of Japanese letters. And I like how Shen's little Amélie and her family are Belgian, even if they live in Japan. Look like they're from Belgium, while the caretaker looks like a Japanese person. And also the character animation is also quite nice, where it looks quite smooth and natural, and also by the way, and also I like to say that the background is also look quite nice, even if. And also the background actually looks quite nice for what they are. And also even with the scenes And also even with the scenes where little Amélie says so like imagination, or at least that's what I think it is. She he takes up it makes it results in some of the most stylistic scenes in the actual film, and they actually look quite impressive even in the movie like this. So now when it comes to the overall animation in its entirety, so while it may not have a bunch of special effects, but however it's probably for the better since this is supposed to feel like a movie with some realistic elements and not a little freaking Michael Bay movie. So now when it comes to the animation itself, it really looks amazing. Woo, with its great mixing of Japanese, with its great mixing of Belgian and Japanese culture. So now let's talk about the characters. And when it comes to the characters themselves, they are actually quite decent. So while I wouldn't say that they are perfect characters, they are still quite likable. So now let's start off with the main character. Little Amélie, who's this girl who at first acts like she's a god, but however in the end, spoiler alert, she later realizes, that she isn't a god, but however, not being one is still quite okay. And there is also Ocean, whom she is supposed, whom she is the caretaker of Amélie, whom Amélie really loves. And as I said before, they have a very heartwarming relationship.
She's gonna help us out around here.
And as for the other characters, there is the mom who is the mother of Amélie and her aunt and the other two kids, and the dad who's the father of Amélie and the two kids. And then a scene in the movie spoiler alert, he's crying because she that his mother died. And as for the other characters, they were also the two other kids, and they were also the two other kids, Sharkish the girl who's the older girl than Amélie, and there is also the boy whom at first made him like an unlikable character on paper. She can act a little bit rude to Amélie by calling her a baby, but however later on in the film, in a scene spoiler alert, she actually ends up hugging. She actually apologizes to He actually was responsible for like saving little Emily for being drowned, and little Emily she the apology, and they visually show, the grandma who's the one who gave the white chocolate to Amélie, and then she went to Belgium. بعد خريبه again Spollywood. It ended up being revealed in the film. That she ended up is this that she ended up like dying. Is that she ended up being بعد خريبه Spollywood in a twist in the film. It's actually revealed what Spollywood in the film. It is actually revealed that she like died. Actually died. And only show and there was only show the winner of show Shan whom she had pushed made him like an antagonist of the movie. She being very angry. She being very angry for because of who that too. But however is because of the war. And I wouldn't go as far and say, and she just made up evil character.
Child will grow up one day and forget you, just as you have forgotten everything.
And also I like to say that the voice acting in this movie is actually quite good and can be quite enjoyable and can be quite enjoyable. And so when it comes to the characters, so while they're not perfect and can have some problems, they are still decent nonetheless, and can have some things, and can have some good things that can make them even feel quite realistic. So as I said before in this review, while I did say that I have never read the book The Character of Pain, I was still hoping that this movie could have a lot of potential since this is an independent French film, and it did look like a good move, and it did look quite exciting. But and after watching this movie, I wouldn't go as far and say that it is quite a perfect. It is still really good. Little Amélie of the Character of Pain is a really good animated movie that while may have some things that keep it away from being full and amazing. Sure is the writing not being the best, and some of the plot points about, and some of the things about the visual like little Emily thinking she's like a god can be quite questionable at most. But however, it still has a lot of elements that will make the picture enjoyable, such as the amazing animation, decent characters, very good voice acting, and some heartwarming moments with the two characters, and even the story itself is actually quite okay. So now as for my recommendation for this movie, I will say that I really recommend this movie to Belgian people who live in Japan. To Belgian people who live in, I'll say that the people who I highly recommend this to the most are probably Belgian people who live in Japan. Well, they most likely gonna enjoy this movie and maybe even more than me. And that's why I'm saying that this movie was really good and gets an 8 out of 10. So, as I said before, while it isn't perfect, it is still a really good indie movie with Belgian-Japanese culture.